you how we can make just one certain part of an image a different color, how we can duplicate one certain part of the image, and so on. So what we want to do is we first want to make our selection. So to do that, I'm going to go in with a quick selection tool, which is on the side over here. You can use any selection tool that you like, whichever one that suits you. So you could use the lasso tool, polygonal lasso tool, the magnetic lasso tool. You could use the quick selection, which I find the easiest. You could use the magic wand, or if you have a newer version of Photoshop 2020 and above, you could also use the object selection tool. But I prefer to use the quick selection tool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this flower over here. So with my mouse, with my quick selection tool, I'm just going to make a selection of this flower. I'm just clicking on my mouse and I am moving my, I have a laptop, so I'm moving the trackpad around. You would use your mouse around the image to make a selection like so. I'm going to go to select and mask just to make sure that the selection is as I want it. I'm going to change the view to being on white and the opacity to be at 100%, so I can make sure that that selection is perfect. I'm happy with that, so I'm just going to press OK. Now what I'm going to do is there's multiple ways to do this, and I will, in this video, show you the different ways that you can do this. So first of all, we can just start working off from this selection that we've made. So if I go to my adjustments panel, let's say we just want to make that flower black and white. I'm going to press on that black and white, and what it will do is that black and white layer will only affect the part of the image that we have selected. So you can see over here in our layers panel, there is a mask layer, and wherever it is white, that is where that layer is being affected, and where it is black, it is masked. So meaning that wherever it's black, it won't affect the layer that's below it. So that's one way to do it. And like I showed in the black and white video, you can change your filters just as normal, and you can play around with that and see how you want it to be done. The other way that you can do it is if I go back to where I've made my selection, just so that's quicker and I don't have to do it again, I can duplicate this layer. And how I would do that is I would right click and I would press layer via copy when this menu comes up. So I'll press layer via copy, and you'll see that Photoshop has made a new layer. And now I'll go back to the adjustments, but this time when I press black and white, it will affect the entire image. We don't want the whole image to be affected. We only want the layer below it to be affected. So this is the most crucial part. This icon over here, which is the square with an arrow with a cross through it, we're going to press on that. And what that does is it creates a clipping mask, and that layer there only affects the layer that's directly underneath it, because how layers work is whatever is at the top, it affects everything below it unless you create a layer mask. Now this is the more kind of interesting way to do this, just because what I can do now is, for example, I can make a levels layer, and in my levels layer I can amend my contrast, and it will again only affect that one part of the image. If you just want to do a quick edit and you just want to make that one part black and white, I would do the first option. But if you want to make multiple differences, like multiple effects on this one image, then I would do it this way. So say, for example, you want to change the hue and saturation. I'm going to clip it off that. But then also I want to go back and I want to make that more vibrant. I can do it with in this way, whereas in the other way I would have to reselect and do it again. So that's the other way that you can do that. What you can also do is, for example, if you have, let me again go back to my quick selection that I've made. So if you're working at this stage, what you can do is you can duplicate this. So either by right clicking and pressing layer via copy, or just pressing Command and J on your keyboard, which I find easier. I'm going to go to my move tool and I can move that around, and I can press Command and T to make that smaller. And I can start to make multiple. So if I press Command and J again to duplicate my layer, I can do it like this. I can even go to Edit, Transform, Flip via Horizontal, and I can start to make a pattern like this. And And this way, actually making the selection separate is going to give you greater freedom to edit your images with. So you could make an edit that looks something like that.